This is an important announcement for anyone thinking about advertising here on Everyone Loves Guitar. We've experienced incredible growth. We currently have over 82,000 monthly listens, and I would anticipate cracking six figures in the next few months. We've also grown our YouTube subscriber base by 72 times. During this time, we've kept our advertising rates consistent, but I wanted to let you know we'll be increasing these rates after the first of the new year. So if you're a business looking to generate new leads or increase your cash flow by adding new clients or customers, or if you're looking for general brand exposure, or if you're a label looking to promote new music and you want to lock into the current advertising rates before they go up at the end of this year, then listen closely. Fill in the short form at everyonelovesguitar.com/advertise. That's everyonelovesguitar.com/advertise. Even if you want to advertise next year, contact us now and you'll get to lock into the current rates before they go up at the end of this year. Thanks for listening. See you soon. If you want to buy or sell a home or investment property and you're here in the Tampa Bay area, in Hillsborough, Pinellas, or Pasco counties, then listen up. West Florida Real Estate is a local residential real estate broker that's helped over 250 Bay Area homeowners buy and sell their properties in the last 4 years alone. If you're looking to sell, you'll want to get their free report, The 7 Biggest Mistakes Homeowners Make When Hiring a Realtor. And if you're looking to buy a property, you definitely want to get your hands on the 21 Most Expensive Mistakes Tampa Home Buyers Make When Buying a Home. Each one of these reports is going to save you time and money. Inside, you'll discover the 7 most important things to consider when hiring a realtor, what to do if you're buying and selling a home at the same time, and the danger of choosing a realtor who agrees with everything you say. To get your hands on these free reports, head on over to westfloridarealestate.com. That's westfloridarealestate.com. Hey, this is Craig. If you like this show and you want to support it and you want to keep it free, head on over to everyonelovesguitar.com/support. That's everyonelovesguitar.com/support. Hey, everybody, this is Craig Garber. Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar. Man, I got one of my favorite guests back. We're with Rob Compa, lead guitar player from Dopapod, one of the key writers. Just overall great guy. If you're not familiar with Rob or Dopapod, please check him out. Anyway, I'm really excited because Rob's got a solo album out, and I want to turn everybody on to it. It's a great record. 8 songs, 39 minutes, awesome stuff. The name of the record is Same Damn Thing by Rob Compa. Rob, thanks so much for coming back on the show. Always happy to have great people back.
Thanks for having me back. I like that our shirts match today, by the way, yeah. Craig.
Hey, man, I'm $5. I'm easy, man.
I like the light's a little darker on my end, but
yeah, man, there you go.
Anyways,
there you go. Man, this is your first solo record.
It is. Yeah.
It's awesome, man. What prompted you to do it now, and how do you feel about it?
I think. Well, a few things prompted it. One, why I didn't do it sooner was, A, because I was always too busy with Dopapod. That was everything for the longest time. And I would still like it to be. Like, I want that to always be the center of my kind of musical life, you know. But the band wasn't playing for a year and a half, so I finally had time where I could do that. But even if I had the time to do it in the past, I probably wouldn't have, because I was afraid to write music. It's scary to write music.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's scary to write music even before you let anybody else hear it.
Yeah.
You're your own worst critic. You're the person whose opinion you're the most afraid of.
Yes.
Right?
Totally get that.
So that kept me from doing it for a long time. But I think the thing that made me finally do it was like, that it felt like actually, instead of just being like, oh, I'll write some songs and maybe someday I'll do something with them, it felt like actually making a record would be the ultimate kind of trial by fire.
Yeah.
And I told myself, like, I don't even care if it's good. I just need to, like, I need to make myself get this done. And I kind of thought about it more as like, almost like songwriting college.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and if I can finish this and get an album done, that'll be my bachelor's degree in album making, or maybe my associates. I don't know which.
No, your bachelor's, man.
Yeah. But you know, obviously proverbially. So yeah, that's kind of why I finally got the guts to do it, you know, and I'm happy I did.
How do you feel about it? I'm happy to too, because it's fucking great.
Thanks,
But how
man.
do you feel about it?
Well, I don't think you're ever, unless you're like Radiohead or something. I saw some interview with Radiohead once where like Tom York was talking about one of their songs, and he's like, that's the first time I was ever completely 100% like totally happy with a tune that I made. It was that tune Exit Music on OK Computer.
Yeah.
Aside from him saying that, which I saw in like some interview, I feel like I've never talked to anybody who was like, yeah, it's perfect. It's just the way I wanted it to be. Because if you're striving for that, I'd still be working on it right now, you know?
Man, what you just said is so important. You know, and I think what your attitude about it was so healthy going into it. It was like, you know what? I don't care if it's good. I just want to do it. Because the thing is, people are always like, with anything, not just music, it's like, well, I don't know how it'll go. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you what, you might be right and it might suck. But if you don't do anything, it's definitely going to suck.
Yeah. But everybody I talked to, they were like, it's not going to suck, dude.
No,
like,
of course it's not
going to suck. They were like,
suck.
you've made like 6 albums with your other band. You know what you're doing. And they're like, and if you just have fun and don't worry about it being good, it probably will be good.
And it's great.
Thank you. I'm pretty happy with it. You know, I think the main thing I'm the most happy with that people keep telling me is that they're like, that's definitely you. Like, I'm not trying, it wasn't trying to be anything that I'm not, you know. They were like, that's your personality, definitely. And I was like, thanks.
It was really cool. And even your voice, like a lot of times people's speaking and singing voice is like, it's almost hard to believe it's the same person, right?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny with this when we did the vocal tracking on Same Damn Thing, like the whole album, you know, I did a lot of it actually like at home, but I went into the studio to get like drum tracks, like lay down all the drums. And then I went back again to do all the vocal tracking. And that one, I kind of was like, I wasn't trying to make my voice sound like anything that it isn't, but I was trying to maybe like project more than I'm used to.
Of course. Yeah, that makes sense.
And like, so I was actually like actively trying to like develop some new and better habits. And then I can tell certain points in the vocals where like I feel like I'm forcing it and I should have just let it sound like whatever it sounds like.
Well, you're the only one who could tell, though, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I listened to this twice, and some of the songs I listened to 3 or 4 times, but I didn't. I thought the vocals were great. It sounded really cool.
That's one of my favorite parts of, and I've felt this with Dopapod albums that we've made too. One of my favorite times of album making is vocal tracking.
Very cool.
With guitar, I put a lot of pressure on myself. Like I have pretty high standards, you know?
Yes.
And then with vocals, I can kind of like get it done pretty fast and in a relaxed way because like, I'm like, yeah, it's good enough. You know, like
it's funny.
Like I'm not going to be, I don't know, who's like an amazing singer. I'm not going to be Bono or something. Is he a good singer? I don't know.
Like Paul Rogers.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, whatever, man, it sounds pretty good. Yeah. On to the next one, you know.
No, I thought
but that was fun. And arranging vocal harmonies and stuff is really fun for me too. I enjoyed doing that. So. And
I got to say, you just said with guitar, you put a lot of pressure on yourself. Anybody who's not heard Dopapod or heard Rob play, I listened to literally the entire Dopapod catalog before, you know, not the minute before, but leading up to our interview because I wanted to get familiar with the music. And this guy, you do not, and I've said this on our interview, our big interview, you do not play any wrong notes, and you don't repeat. I'm listening to all these songs. I'm like, when is he going to repeat a lick? Never happened.
Well, so, I can tell, you know, I'm behind Oz's curtain or whatever.
Yeah, man, but you're a great, very creative player, man.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Is there like was there any kind of like message or theme for the record, or just, you know?
Not deliberately from the outset, because I didn't have that many songs. Like maybe like right when Dopapod stopped touring, like I still didn't have enough songs to make a record, and I had no intention of making a record.
Right.
And then I just started writing just 'cause. And one day I kind of like was in like a coffee shop and I was on my phone and I was writing down all the songs that I have. And I was like, I actually have enough where I could like make an album if I wanted, which was just unheard of for me. I was like, I don't make albums. What am I doing? You know?
That's
So
cool.
there wasn't
though,
any like continuity in the songs really, aside from just like a lot of them are directly related to what was going on right then in my life. You know, of course, it kind of always ends up being like that, even if you don't intend for it to. But I guess the main theme with like the same damn thing being the title is almost like a self-referential.
In what way?
I think because like I wrote that song when I was like kind of mad because a lot of my friends in other kind of peer bands, they were all like still touring and playing these big shows and everything, and my band was not doing anything right then. I just needed to vent, you know.
Good for you, man.
And I do kind of feel like the scene that I'm in, like the jam band scene, we all kind of have the same habits, my band included. So it's that song's actually kind of self-referential, and then I called the album that partially because I was like just making like another drop in the bucket, like, you know, like I just made another album like anybody else, you know. So it was kind of a clever title. I thought like that was another album just like anybody else would make. But I kind of called it that because I had the idea for the album cover with like me wearing a shirt with a picture of myself wearing
inside the picture. Yeah, that was really cool, man.
So I was like, if I called it the same damn thing, then I could do that, and then I could make T-shirts that other people will wear.
Dude, you have merch, right? Where's your merch?
No, I don't have any merch yet.
You don't have any merch? Oh my God, you got to get some merch.
I'm a slacker, you know. I got to get on it. I know I do.
Yeah, it's great. The title track, I had a comment. Some fucking seriously aggressive guitars on there, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you were on it there.
Thank you. That was I actually used like I originally I just you know the pedal company Maxon?
Yeah, sure.
They lent me like a bunch of fuzz pedals. Like they sent them to me in the mail. I was like, I'm making an album and I want to use a bunch of fuzz on it.
Right.
So they sent me a bunch, and then I experimented with them a lot, and then a lot of them actually ended up on the album. But on Same Damn Thing, I used this thing called like the Fire. That was like almost like a Smashing Pumpkins-esque fuzz, like really over the top.
Yeah, that's their
I thought
stuff
it sounded
really
sick.
Over the top.
Thank you. Well, it didn't even end. The engineer was like, "No, I don't like it." And so he had me like, I thought it sounded sick. And a lot of the other fuzz pedals they sent me, like I used all over the place. But he had me redo it, and then he just like used an amp simulator in like whatever program he was using, Pro Tools or something like that. I was like, just make it sound like Nirvana, and he was like, can do 10 minutes. You know? Yeah. And then the solo at the end is I'm using a Strat with like a whammy bar, but I'm also using a whammy pedal at the same time.
Oh, wow. So you were going nuts.
Yeah, just like I just wanted it to be like kind of chaos. I didn't want it to be like a consonant guitar solo. I wanted it to be
great track guitar.
Kind of noise rock, you know. Yeah.
You said you recorded most of that in your home studio?
I don't really have a home studio, but well, the drums, I went to the studio called More Sound Studios.
Where is that?
And that's where I went in there with a couple of drummers, and we just like knocked out all like the drum tracks, and then I built everything on top of that, you know?
Gotcha.
And then kind of cool, the drummer who's on every track except for one is my friend Russ Lawton, who's he's been Trey Anastasio from Fishes, you know, Trey.
Sure.
He's been his drummer in Trey's like solo band for like 20 years.
Oh, cool.
But we both live in Vermont, so I see him all the time. So he played drums on that, and to sort of help me be able to afford like what he needed to play on it. A week after that, he had me house sit for him.
The old barter system.
Yeah, and so he lives on this like beautiful farm in the middle of Vermont, in the middle of nowhere. He doesn't have any neighbors. and he has 3 German Shepherds. So I was just hanging out with these giant German Shepherds, and
That's
I could
cool.
play as loud as I wanted. So I brought all my gear in, and I put this giant 50-watt Fuchs amp in a closet and turned it up as loud as I could afford and tracked all the guitars over like a week, you know?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's really, that's great, man. That's the Airbnb economy at work.
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. Besides Russ, any other special guests on the record?
Yeah. My friend Michelangelo Karuba played drums on the title track, and he's actually the original Dopapod drummer on our first album, Radar. Cool. He was our drummer when we first started, and now he's in the band Turquoise.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then my friend Pat Markley, who he plays in my trio too. He's a bass player who lives in Burlington with me. And he's a great player. I mean, young-ish. I think he's like 26, something like that, but he's a great player. And he did everything like by email pretty much.
Oh, very
cool. Even though we live in the same town, I was
going to say, what the hell?
I just sent him tracks, and then we would like hang out, and I'd be like, yeah, this is cool. Like maybe try this a little differently. Well, I travel a lot. So even though we live in the same town,
sure,
I'm probably gone at the point in time when he was recording. So, and then on the tune Garbage Man, the engineer Jocko, who I'll get to him later because he's a really important part of the whole thing. But
one of my favorite tunes on the record, actually.
Oh,
too.
Thank you. That's
Garbage Man's great.
One of the oldest tunes on the record too. I was like, man, I really wish we could have upright bass. And he was like, give me 10 minutes. And he emailed this upright player. And then 10 minutes later, he emailed us back with a really good upright bass track.
That's awesome. That's almost amazing.
Yeah. And that was Joey Arcuri from Driftwood. I've actually never even talked to him or met him in person.
Again, the Airbnb economy.
Isn't that wild? Yeah.
It is wild. It's totally wild. But I hear this all the time of, I've been playing with this guy for years. We've never physically met. And sometimes I hear we've never physically had a phone conversation either, which
Isn't that wild? What a weird world.
It is a weird
We've never met, I've seen pixels that resemble you.
Yes, that's right. No, it's really weird. But the cool thing is like for me, what I love, because these shows are so like intimate, when I do meet somebody, it's like an old friend, like you give each other a hug. It's like an old friend we haven't seen in years. There's no weird, which is like, I feel really lucky, that I get to connect with people like that. Then when you meet in person, it's like, oh man, it's cool. Like you just haven't, like your old buddy, just haven't seen him in a few years. It's it's very unusual.
I did, years ago, I took a bunch of Skype guitar lessons with Wayne. Wayne Grants. And they were great. And I learned a ton, but then like, I don't know 6 months later, a year later, something, I went to 55 Bar to see him play.
Yeah.
And I knew the door guy. So he was like, I'll give you the front seat.
Right.
So there isn't even a stage at 55 Bar. It's this tiny little like New York jazz club.
Low ceiling.
Oh yeah. It's a dive bar and somehow they managed to fit a jazz combo in there every night. But like the front seat is so close that like I had to tuck my feet under my chair to not step on his pedals. and then he kind of like, he's setting up his stuff and he's super focused, and I didn't want to bug him or anything. Everybody was kind of like wanted to talk to him. But then he kind of noticed me eventually. He's like, "Oh, it's you. You're real." He's like, "You're a real person. You're not just data."
That's so funny, man.
That's funny. Yeah, I was like, yeah.
So he was a really nice guy to talk to.
He's interesting, right?
Yeah, he was funny. He was one of those guys, like a lot of people are like, well, I'm really quiet. I don't really know if I'm going to have much to say. And all the guys that say that, they go 2 hours at least. Every one of them. It's a funny thing, man.
I've listened to a couple interviews with him though, and he's very, he's not like boisterous, but he's eloquent.
He's real nice. Yeah, he's that's a good,
an eloquent speaker. The stuff he says, he phrases it in a way that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, very nice guy, very sincere person. Yeah, real good to talk with. Yeah. All these tracks are originals, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really good. Who did the mixing, the mastering, and the engineering?
That was who I mentioned briefly before, Jason Randall, but we all call him Jocko.
And he's out
More
of...
Sound. He owns the studio More Sound Studios, and I've known him a long time. He's a really good friend of mine, and he's made a few Dopapod albums.
Oh, cool.
Too.
Yeah, it came out great.
Yeah, dude, he's so great at what he does, and a wonderful guitar player as well. I think I mentioned it on the last interview we did, but the way I was able to like fund the album was that I gave Jocko a guitar.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I had that. You asked about it last time, that like Gibson custom shop that I had, the hollow body with the Firebird headstock.
Yes, I do remember.
I gave him that guitar.
That was
in exchange for, I was like, I'll give you this guitar if you'll help me make an album.
There you go, man.
And he was like, yeah, hell yeah. Because, man, I don't know many other engineers that would do that, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think people are pretty supportive in the music business. And if they like someone, they want to try to make it happen for them.
Yeah.
If you get two people that are good people, this is going to be a way to usually find it out. And like giving someone a real nice custom guitar.
Yeah. I could have worked with an engineer in Vermont somewhere. I could have found somebody, but I really absolutely had to be with somebody that I could trust.
Where's his studio? He's not in Vermont. Where's he?
Syracuse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I grew up in Rochester originally.
I was going to say, yeah, you're from upstate New York.
Yes, near my mom and dad's house, kind of. Well, an hour and a half. But I had to that was kind of the only. I think for the future, now that I'm a little more comfortable, I could work with other guys.
Cool.
But for the first time doing that, I really wanted to be with somebody who I was comfortable being around and who I knew would. He's a really a total sweetheart and like supportive, but also like he'll let you know if something could be better or if he has an idea. He's almost like a producer at the same time too. He's great.
I think it was really smart that you did that because, you took chances where you were comfortable taking chances in making the record in the first place. I think it's a smart, you're comfortable with him. He's not going to kiss your ass. But if there's something he doesn't like, he's also not going to treat you like garbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you knew that. And I think that was smart and healthy. Self-care is fucking important.
Yeah. That's one of the other huge reasons why I asked Russ to play drums on it too, because he's one of the most like positive forces of nature to be around that I've ever experienced.
Russ Lawton, there you go.
So having him and Jocko in the same room, like I was like, I'm gonna be okay.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So that leads me to my perfect segue. What were some of the biggest lessons you learned from doing this?
I'm still trying to work on this a lot, but I think step one is being cognizant of it is to have better work ethic. If you have any tips, let me know.
I think you got a pretty good, what do you mean better work ethic? Because I think you're pretty.
I think more on like on a
organizational. I think you probably mean
level.
Yeah, because you work, man. You
on a musical level, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, you know what though? Sometimes I understand what you're saying, but I'm not one of those guys that says we all have weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of work on your strengths and have other people, whether you got to pay them or, help you with the weaknesses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's funny, like the amount of time it would take you to get organized and lay it out, you're probably better off handing it off to an assistant and say, hey, listen, sort this out. They'll do it in less time and it'll be better because they're naturally apt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean, but I also, a lot of the things that I would have, if I had the money, I probably would have had somebody else do it. Ended up being pretty easy anyways.
Oh, good.
Like putting the album on on streaming platforms and everything and get it. I was like, how do I do that? And then I called Dopapod's manager who he didn't do it for me, but he just kind of walked me through it. And he's like, you'll be fine. It was really easy. and also like getting a little bit of like what we're doing right now, like getting a little bit of like promotion for it.
Yeah.
I think I felt for a long time, something that like kept me from writing music was I felt an obligation to write music that sounded a certain way. Like because of the band that I've been in for so long, like people would expect me to like write like
like
a bunch of
Dopapod
prog
stuff.
rock and like really loud stuff. Or like, you know what I mean? Like kind of like shreddy almost or something. But I didn't really grow up with that. I started out like my dad got me an acoustic guitar and I strummed Bob Dylan tunes. I just wanted to like sing. And then you kind of got to find your own personal method for writing music. And for me, it's sitting on my porch with an acoustic guitar and a notebook. And I felt like I kind of, once I just sort of like didn't worry about what I thought other people would want to hear, or even what I thought I expected myself to sound like. Once I stopped worrying about that and just wrote and let it be what it was, then I got some good stuff done, you know?
I would imagine a lot of people listening to this feel that same way. What was the trigger for you that allowed you to get past that and say, I'm not going to worry about what I expect of myself or what anybody else expects of me. I'm just going to be me and let go sort of. What was the trigger for you and how did you do it? Because I think a lot of people would be interested in that.
You know, it was a big one going back to like, I mentioned that I studied with Wayne for a while. I showed him some Dopapod recordings and he was like, yeah, it's great, man. Really good playing and everything. He's like, I have some thoughts if you want to hear them. And I was like, yeah, totally. And he was like, well, I mean, like, what do you want to say to people? Like, because if you just want to say, like, I'm really good at guitar, that's totally fine. That's a perfectly good thing to say. But a lot of people can say that. Like, is there anything else that you want to say? And I was like, I don't know. And like, I guess. And like, I couldn't really give him an answer. And so I must think once I started writing, I feel like it's not even up to me what I sound like, you know? But you just kind of got to like get it done and let it sound like what it sounds like. At least for me for now, because I'm still pretty new to this, you know, maybe later when I get a little more advanced and a little more comfortable with writing, then you have the ability to like have a little more control over that. I don't know. But it was nice. There's this thing I think about a lot that I saw this article once that there's this big mural in the like main foyer of the Facebook headquarters that says, done is better than perfect. Yeah,
man.
Isn't that sick?
You know, I've said that many years. I heard that many years ago.
Yeah, I'd never heard that before, but that
done is better than perfect and good is good enough.
Yeah. I actually have a new song that's not out yet, but it's the chorus of it is I do enough, I have enough, I am enough. Because my mom said it to me on we were on the phone and she was like, I was like, I don't know what we were talking about, self-care or whatever, depression, all that stuff. And she was like, yeah, I do enough, I have enough, I am enough. And I was like, man, that's
nice,
a good
man.
thing to tell yourself every day.
Yeah, you know? I do enough, I have enough, I am enough.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Tune that I want to do that one. I want to have that one be a Dopapod song, but I'm actually going to write music with Eli right after this, and that's one of the tunes we want to work on.
I do enough, I have enough, I am enough. Dude,
just makes me feel good to say that to myself. So
I may put that on a t-shirt in my merch store. I'll send one to you and your mom. That's a lovely quote, man. It really is. If like everybody woke up and said that to themselves in the morning and a few times a day.
Yeah. I don't know where she got that. Is that a thing?
I've never heard it. I don't know. So you're asking me because I'm old. Since you're my mom's age, is that a thing?
Oh,
no, I don't know. I've never heard that. It's really beautiful.
You might have gotten it from like, I don't know, but it was,
it sounds like something that you would, it would be like in I'm not saying your mom is attached to any of this, so let me get you a disclaimer, but it sounds like something that would be in like an AA or an NA workbook, actually.
You know what is that? Well, my dad goes to AA meetings all the time.
So I wonder if she
Been
might have
sober for
heard.
30 years, but my mom used to go to Al-Anon meetings, which is like for spouses of people who are in AA.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I kind of thought maybe she got it there.
That's what it sounds like, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's so much wisdom in there, and that they should be teaching in school. Anyway, separate topic, but
Yeah.
instead of Chinese history. What was the biggest difference in running a project versus being in a band like you are at Dopapod versus being a sideman, which you are sometimes?
Oh man, there's glaring differences. Well, I guess, and this kind of ties into the like lessons learned from the album, is that it's nice making my own thing all by not all by myself, but we're basically any decisions, I have to make pretty much every decision.
Yeah.
It was nice for me, for better or worse, to be able to say like, okay, so that's what it sounds like when I'm calling all the shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like can be aware of like when I'm allowed to make music all on my own, what's gonna come out. I'm not comfortable in that place. I'm not like a control freak kind of guy. If anything, I should be more like that probably.
What was your first one?
Yeah. So that's like the scary part of making your own thing, but also like the exciting part and a really educational part. And then sideman stuff, I feel like that's just an exercise in straight humility, helping someone else get their music to sound the way that they would like it to sound, you know? And then some people know exactly what they want and they'll tell you, and then you can help them realize that. And other people, and I'm more like this kind of person, other people don't know what they want, and they just want somebody who has something to say to help them make something good. Like I don't know anything about drums. Like I could maybe vaguely tell like Russ and Mikey what kind of a beat I would want, or dynamic stuff, or like kind of vague feel changes, but I'm not a drummer, so I'm not going to tell them exactly what patterns to play or anything. A lot of it, I was just like, damn, just play something sick, you know? So that can range somewhere between those two poles of somebody who knows exactly what they want and somebody who's just like, I don't know, but I want it to be good. Help me, you know? And I like being that person. I like being a sideman a lot. And that's good because it lets me just be a guitar player, that's what I consider myself first and foremost, is just a guitar player. And then Dopapod's kind of a mixture of the two, I feel like. I have a lot of like creative responsibility, which is fun and feels great. I actually kind of didn't appreciate that responsibility until I didn't have it anymore and was just doing the sideman thing. When you had the break. Yeah. That was another cool thing about playing in other people's groups, which I still love to do. Was it being aware of like that I loved just playing guitar and being part of a team and helping other people kind of realize their kind of vision or whatever you would call it. It also made me want to be creative myself too, because you don't get a chance to have that in that setting. So then you kind of go home and you can't wait to have something where you do get to be more creative. Yeah. You know, so it was really good for me. This sounds like it was a great it sounds like you really, like, as a musician or as a creative, you really kind of grew a lot from doing this. I think so. Yeah. It sounds like it. Yeah. Did you ever at any time approach this like, okay, if this wasn't my music and I was a sideman on this song, what would I do then? No, I never thought of it that way, I guess. But I guess I did kind of treat, when I was tracking guitars, I treated it just like, you know, when you do a recording session and you kind of set up your amp and then you're in the control room with the songwriter and kind of just like trying things.
Yeah.
I kind of just treated it like that, except it was just me in the room.
It was you and you.
Yeah, but it was also, well, I did try to keep in mind something that like is the cardinal rule of most, side guitar player stuff, which is don't overplay. And to be more specific with that is like, if you can't hear the lyrics, you're playing too much.
Yeah.
If it's stepping on the lyrics, you're playing too much.
And like I said, I've listened to now your entire catalog, even your, you've never, and you're so tasteful, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
So, I mean, just,
yeah,
I'd say nothing. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass if it wasn't true. You're just an amazing, really talented guy.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I try to keep that in mind as much as I can. Sometimes you shouldn't though. Like there's some music where you're not supposed to be tasteful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, you're tasteful for the song. You do what you're supposed to
play
do.
what's
you serve the song.
Yeah, whatever that is. Yeah.
I want to talk about a couple of the tracks I really dug. Again, the title track is great. Terra Firma is like my favorite song, I think, on the
thanks.
Great song, great slide, ripping outro guitar solo, and then the lyrics. Nothing was out there. All that I needed was in me.
Yeah.
That's pretty heavy, man. What's that all about? If you're comfortable.
Sure. I've had a lot of friends who don't necessarily agree with the lyrical content of this, which I like. I like to spark a debate,
Yeah.
Not everybody agrees with. Nothing is unanimous.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, I've been with my wife 27 years. I can assure you there's not
one thing on this
of
world
everything we don't
unanimously agreed upon, except that the Beatles are great. I don't know. So what the song's basically about is, and this isn't anything that hasn't been said before. This is like essentially like the lyrical content of Superstition, but but that it's not, and I'm talking about myself personally, not for everybody. It's unhealthy for me to rely on coincidences to tell me what decisions I should make. So the example of that caused that song to be written was, I was in Rochester where I grew up. It was Christmas time. This is 2 Christmases ago. And I just gone through a really bad breakup, and it was still kind of it was fresh, And I was taking a walk in my hometown, and it's this really sleepy town with not a lot of traffic or anything. There's not a lot going on at all. And I was walking on Main Street, and I just saw this massive car accident happen right in front of me. Nobody got hurt too bad, but both people were really scared and like crying, and their cars got wrecked, but nobody got horribly injured, thankfully. Yeah. But when it first happened, I was kind of like, what does this mean? This is eerie. Why did this happen? Like, what is it trying to tell me? And I had a lot on my mind at that point, and a lot of like wondering where I should go and what I should do. And I didn't have a band at that point too. All that stuff happened at the same time.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember from our interview, Dopapod went on hiatus. You had to break up. Yeah, I do remember all this.
Blank canvas of life at that point. Like, I don't know where I'm going to live. I don't know what I'm going to do. What's next? And then I kind of just realized, like, I was like, man, that car accident has nothing to do with you. Like, don't let that, like, I'm not going to let that be like some sort of like superstitious, like, does this telling me something? Like, you were just there by accident watching that happen. Like,
right.
Decide for yourself what's best for you. Don't let some arbitrary thing that has nothing to do with you dictate your decision.
Sure.
But then I've had other people like who are kind of like, I don't know if I agree with that, because there's people who are into like synchronicity or whatever, and
sure.
Like, Eli's one of them. He was like, I don't know about that, man, and I tried to just be like, well, I kind of just, that worked for me right then.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it'll work for somebody else for a given scenario, but maybe not a a consistent, like, live your whole life by it thing, you know?
I think when you see for me, like if I'm supposed to take away something from something else, I generally, that comes to me. I don't have to, necessarily maybe look for it. Like, the whatever feelings or thoughts tend to come easy, as opposed to, I've had other things where like shit's happening. Like, what do I get to get out of this? But I sit and think, and it come, and I understand, it's not a battle. Like when things are supposed to come to you, they kind of come organically.
Yeah.
I
But
found.
there's some times where like nothing in the outside world is going to tell you what you need. Everything that you need to decide is like, deep down
Already in
inside.
you, man.
And the decisions where the answer is already inside you, sometimes those are the hardest one, because we're really good at lying to ourselves.
Yep.
It's pretty good to like be able to, it's pretty easy to convince yourself that things that aren't good for you are good for you, in fact.
Sure, man.
And vice versa. There's a lot of things that are like, that's not good for me, I don't want to do that, and they're actually great for you.
Yeah, we are.
Like last week I went on my girlfriend's a big hiker. I'm pretty new to it, and she was like, we're going on a 14-mile hike, 10 hours. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm not. Are you crazy? And she's like, it would mean a lot to me if you did it. And
that was very nice how she said that. That was very sweet. As opposed to, look, I do shit for you all the time. That was really nice. That would mean a lot to me. That's a very sweet.
She has a house in the Adirondacks right across the lake from where we live in Vermont. And she in the Adirondack Range, there's 46 high peaks, which is a high peak is something that's above a certain elevation. And that was the one we did that day, was her 46th one. It was the final one. And that's like a title in the Adirondacks. So if you're a 46er, it means you've hiked all 46 high peaks in the Adirondacks.
Oh, that's very cool. Oh, so she did her special moment with you.
Oh, it was really a big moment for her. It was a big deal. Like she took a ton of her friends up there too, and then we had like a party with like champagne on the peak and everything.
That's very cool, man.
She's like, no, you got to come with me. This is important. And I was, I was scared to do it, and man, I got done with it, and I was exhausted, and I would love to do it again. It was great.
There you go.
So that's sort of the inverse of that. There's some things that you're scared to do and tell yourself they're not going to be good for you, when in fact they're going to be awesome for you.
Very cool, man. Thank you for sharing those stories.
Yeah.
Garbage Men, great melody, really fun tune. Same thing with the lyrics. The world needs garbage men too. That sounds like a metaphor for something. I don't know what.
Well, it's definitely like about, struggling with like self-doubt and low self-esteem,
Yeah.
And
something that everybody does from time to time.
Everybody does. Yep. And what's funny is I wrote that maybe 2014 or 15, and although it's a little spread out, like I wrote the first half of the tune then, and then like a year later I wrote the other half. But I think I was like, I was like doing dishes or something, and literally telling myself like I can't write songs.
And you're at a low, man.
Yeah, I was like, I can't write songs, and I remember I told myself, I was like, some people are just meant to be garbage men. Like maybe you're not meant to do anything great. Maybe like, because there's like the world needs like people to do like those jobs too. Like somebody has to do that job,
right?
Because it's actually really important.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that job. We would all rather be rock stars or astronauts.
Yeah.
Somebody has to do that job. And I was like, maybe you're supposed to just be that guy. And that it's kind of funny how like right then I had like the sort of like, have you ever seen Walk Hard, the John C. Reilly, where he's like the fake country star?
No, and I know the movie you're talking about.
Yeah, and he's like, he says like, oh, I'm gonna walk hard, and then he has like the light bulb moment, and that's like the lyric to his song. I had a little.
That was it. That was it. Good for you, man. Great song.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
It's funny that the song is about struggling with self-doubt, and you were thinking, well, maybe I'm not meant to write songs, and you put
And my
that
self-doubt perpetuated a song.
a song on the record. I know one of the better songs on the record.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's man. I think that's kind of an important thing, is that sometimes your weaknesses can actually like create things.
Yeah, anything can. You
it's
just
your
don't
unique
know.
story to be able to tell. I just did some shows with my friend Haley Jane, who's she went to Berkeley with me, and she's a really great songwriter and singer, and she has a lot of things to say, man. She's been through a lot of stuff in life, and she just like unapologetically is honest about it in her songs. And man, we did shows over the weekend, and I saw people cry when she was playing her songs, you know?
Wow.
Like,
where was this, in Vermont?
We're in tears. We did where did we go? Connecticut, and then like Western New York.
Is Toad's around in Connecticut still?
Yeah, Toad's is still around.
Toad's place. I went there like 100 years ago.
Yeah, but you know, she sings a lot about things in her life, like depression and like addiction and stuff that's none of my business to talk about. But she's just totally honest about those things, and those songs resonate with people, and that was really inspiring for me to see this weekend. You know,
that's really cool, man.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you helped her bring that vision to life, man.
Yeah, try my best.
Red. Tough. That's a tough breakup song. I'm assuming that was. Yeah, that's the. Okay.
Well, it's not tough to talk about. It's easy to talk about because I know I'm happy with the way things went. Was the way they were supposed to go. But I don't know how okay it is to talk about all that.
That's cool, man. You don't have to.
Yeah. But yeah, it's it's a breakup song. It's
good song, man. I was like, ouch.
I will say, I came up with like the chords and everything when we were still together.
Ooh, that's weird.
Which is why it's kind of in a major key and everything, and like could have easily been a happy song. And but it's not.
Yeah.
After.
That's ouch. That's an ouch song, man.
It's an ouch song.
Yeah.
But I really like the lyric at the end. It actually, that sort of outro thing used to be a much more abrasive set of lyrics that were like kind of angry, almost like what's the word? Have you ever heard Ben Folds 5 song for the Dumped?
No.
Just this super pissed off song about a breakup. But I wasn't actually that mad. It felt disingenuous for the lyrics that were in there. So I changed them, and I really like what's in there now. It says, I hope you find a better you, and I hope I do too.
That's nice.
Because that could have meant a lot. That sort of has like 3 different interpretations in there for me, which are, at the time when I wrote it, it could mean, I hope you find a better you, and I hope I do too. So it could have meant, I hope that, like the thought that maybe we'll get together someday, and you will, like both of us will have done some self-care and be better people.
Mm.
Right? But then at the same time, it could also mean the I do too part could also mean that I hope I find somebody else who's better for me.
Yeah.
And then the third part is that it could mean I hope I also find a better me, like a better version of myself. So it's sort of there's 3 ways it could be perceived, which I always kind of liked.
Good song. It's a real good song. Do you know who Teddy Kumpel is?
No.
He's a guy in New York. He wrote a scathing. It's just the funniest. Like, I'll send it to you after the interview. I'll make a note here. Oh my God. He did a breakup song. It was really clever, actually, but it was it was scathing, man.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
But with me, like, it didn't make sense for me to be angry in that song because she's the one who deserved to be angry, probably. So, but yeah, that's kind of as much as I'm going to talk about that.
Totally cool, man. I appreciate you sharing that. You didn't have to do that. Yeah. Man, it always seems like it never makes sense to be angry, because I've chosen to be angry a lot as a younger person, and it never made sense. It's always easier to just like, you know,
It's
find the
exhausting,
good in
isn't
it.
it?
It's exhausting. It's so draining.
Yeah.
It's just negative shit that spews out. It's just not good, man.
Yeah.
What are your favorite songs on the record?
What songs are on the record again? Let me think here.
Better Late Than Never, Same Damn Thing, Terra Firma, Carolina, Garbage Man, High Doggy, Red, and Maybe Baby.
Okay. Well, I like a lot of them for different reasons. You know, maybe like I could talk about certain moments that I really like. Like, I really like in Better Late Than Never, there's like a slide guitar thing where there's like 3 different slide guitars. I really had fun doing that. I wanted to have like a New Orleans horn section, but I can't pay a bunch of horn players. So I thought it was kind of fun to like, I was like, well, you can just use a guitar. Like they're all just like 12-tone instruments. Just say say the same stuff you would want a horn player to do, but on a guitar.
Very cool.
So I had fun doing that. And I like Maybe Baby a lot because I feel like my favorite songs that I've written have always been songs that I wrote just for one other person, like made as like a present for somebody or something.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I feel like that's like that's when it's songwriting at its purest, because you're not doing it for yourself. Like anytime I've written a song where I didn't plan on even like anybody hearing it except for the one person I was going to make it for, ended up being a really like pure thing. I wrote that song for my niece, she's actually
really
upstairs
sweet,
right
man.
now. I'm actually at my sister's house right now in Philadelphia.
You know what? I'm pretty sure you spoke about your niece on our call, on our big Rob Compa call.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really sweet, man.
Yeah. So I like that one just because it was and you know what's funny is originally that song also had a totally different set of lyrics to it that I didn't really love, and they were kind of just about like me and my own shit. And just
this is about me and my own shit.
I don't remember what it was about. It's something about, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like some sort of like delving inside and taking a look at yourself thing. And I was just like, ugh, I've done enough of that. Like, and it was like Christmas time at that point, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna write a song for May. Like.
That's really sweet, man.
I kind of remember thinking too, like I hated the lyrics that were already there, and I was like, well, what does this song make me think of when I play it? And I was like, it kind of reminds me of May for some reason. So I was like, okay, well, make lyrics about that.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great record. What have we learned about you? You're back on your feet. You have a new girlfriend. Life's good. You have a killer album that I want everybody to listen to. It's Rob Compa, Same Damn Thing. It's really a great record. He's got some long songs on there. 8 songs, 39 minutes is great, man. It's 2 songs over 6 minutes, which is, and it's all good material. It's not, it's not like a business card for guitar players. It's an actual nice album. Well, you know what I mean? Like sometimes
I didn't want it to be like a look how good I am at guitar record.
No, it's some great songs here, man. It's really good. I'm really happy for you.
I have trouble listening to, I love guitar playing, of course. Like I could definitely put on Eric Johnson live at Austin City Limits and headbang to it, but most of the time I'd rather put on the White Album or something,
I hear you, man.
Yeah. So
hey, you want songs? You want good songs?
Yeah. And I'm a big stickler for lyrics too. So, yeah.
So this is like asking someone who just had a baby, so you're going to have another one, or asking someone who just got married, so when's the baby coming? So what are your thoughts on the second record?
I already have a lot of songs.
That's really cool, man.
The tricky part though is that I don't know now that like Dopapod's doing things again. I don't know what's going to become a Dopapod song and what's going to become something else.
Sure.
I guess it's just sort of a wait and see thing.
Hey, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, next time the next record comes out, hopefully you come to the same place, and we'll be talking about the next one, man.
Yeah.
Everybody check out the new record from Rob Compa, Compa. It's called Same Damn Thing. It's on all streaming services. Rob's not only an excellent player, he's a great songwriter, and he's a really, really nice guy. So I hope you check the record out because there's some good music. Any final words of wisdom?
Nah.
All right. It's always good talking to you, man. Hang on. Let me wrap this up, and thanks for coming on again. And I hope everybody checks out the record. Same Damn Thing by Rob. Oh, are you, do you have like a Facebook page for your music? Like Rob Compa Music or something?
Just my personal thing.
You have an Instagram?
I should make a fan page thing.
Yeah,
But I have like my website, which is really not even like my album's not even mentioned on. It's more to help me like get students and stuff. But yeah, I guess you could just find the album on any streaming platforms, on iTunes, Spotify, whatever, what have you, all of them.
And talk about your lessons, man, because I know you do a lot of lessons. I know you're good at.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not doing too many right now because I'm pretty busy. But I do a lot of Skype lessons. I like teaching guitar.
And you're a Berkeley grad?
No.
No, not a grad. You're a Berkeley student. That's right. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's right. That was part of your big part of your story. Remember, you wanted to go play music.
But yeah, no, I teach a lot when I can. I enjoy it. Yeah.
This guy is so modest. Listen, if you want to take lessons, honestly, man, this guy does not play a bad note. Listen to Dopapod, listen to his album. He's a phenomenal player. And you're always putting up really cool stuff like mini lessons on, is it on Facebook or on your Instagram? Or both?
The Instagram. I've been thinking about doing like this thing, Patreon, which is like where you can have like a steady, like people can subscribe to you because Instagram's hard because it's just these little 50-second things. I have to be like really brief and give people these little like kind of like Cracker Jack toys, you know?
Yeah, man, do it.
When it'd be more fun to give them a whole set of Legos to play with and build whatever they want with, you know?
Hell yeah.
So I'm thinking about maybe doing that soon too, having like a Patreon thing that people can subscribe to, and I'll put up in-depth videos with some.
So where would people find out about that? On your social media?
I don't know because I haven't made it yet. So.
Oh, God, you musicians, just follow.
Being speculative right now.
Follow Rob on Instagram. Is that fair to say?
Sure. Yeah, that's great. Instagram's the best place to go, I think.
Yeah, follow Rob on Instagram, and he is a great guitar player, and he is a great teacher. So, man, thank you for everything. Best of luck with the record. I'm really glad you made it, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. So hang on one second. Man. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, please share it on your social media channels with your friends. Check out Same Damn Thing by Rob Compa. And if you haven't heard any of Rob's stuff with Dopapod, check out Dopapod. Make sure you go to everyonelovesguitar.com. Enter your email address there so you and I can connect. And most important, remember that happiness is a choice, so choose wisely. Yeah. Be nice, go play your guitar, and have fun. Till next time, peace and love, everybody. I'm out. And listen to Same Damn Thing by Rob Compa.